What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tuesday afternoon. Just Gonna Say a podcast on the Dylan Talks Tone YouTube channel. We thank you for being here and hanging out with us and talking about guitar stuff. If you have questions about guitar stuff, get them in the comments. We'll try to pull them out of there. If you have something that you want to say or be heard about right away, use a super chat, because then I will drop what I'm doing and address it immediately. We're going to talk a little bit about some things. I'm wrong a lot. So we're going to talk about that today. Kind of fun. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot. So if you have questions, today might be a good day for that. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and everybody who follows, subscribes to the channel, who joins the thing, who uses the super thanks and the super chat and that kind of stuff. That's what keeps the videos going. And they also keep the, reviews coming and stuff, because we review a guitar this week. We reviewed one last week. And I'm just going to say, there might be an unboxing tomorrow afternoon. So, another one. So that'd be pretty cool. So, but thanks to everybody who supports the channel. And also don't forget, that DylanPickups.com is DylanTalksTone.com is how you can really support the channel. And if you can't buy anything guitar pickups related, then just share the video and, watch and stuff. So, how's everybody doing? We had a pretty good video come out yesterday. And it's the one that inspired this conversation. And then I was actually going through some YouTube comments today, and I was kind of chuckling to myself. The correction that I want to make about yesterday's video is that guitar, that supersonic, stratosonic, whatever it's called thing, has a graphite nut in it. It's not plastic. It's a cheap graphite nut, so it's not like a Graphtec or anything, but it is a graphite nut. I said it was plastic because it feels plastic. One of the reasons why I am wrong about that stuff a lot. You'll hear me make mistakes about that on this channel quite a bit, or, hey, you didn't talk about a particular feature or whatever. Here's the reason. I don't care. When I take a product out, I'm not usually a spec shopper. Okay. So there are some things that I want, right? So outside of, maybe with bicycles, I spec shop. Like, I want these wheel bearings. I want these rim hoops. I want this fork. I want at least this series of, derailleur and shifting system. I do spec shop. So I could tell you, no, I can't. After I start enjoying a thing, I don't care anymore. There are very, very few things, except for bicycles. I'm looking at my mountain bike hanging over here, that I spec shop for. Most everything else that I shop for is based on my draw to said object. And then after I buy it, it's how much I actually enjoy the thing. And I think that this is something that a lot of guitar players don't do right. I don't think they do it properly. They spec shop a guitar. Well, it has to have this kind of wood. I can only play, we've talked about this many times, I can only play a particular fret size. I can only play a particular radius. Wait a minute. It has a plastic nut. Who cares, man? Play the guitar. Is it good? It's good. So when I'm conveying content to you, a lot of times I don't pay attention to that stuff on purpose. Now, I will get like the major stuff. I'll look through the major stuff. A lot of the stuff you can see just by looking at it. But we'll make sure that we get the neck radius right. I'll try to describe to you the neck profile. by feeling, like Phil McKnight, he like measures it with his little Archie thing, the little tools, StuMac tools, which is cool, but I just don't think that you should care about that as much. We will weigh them sometimes when they're really extreme weights, but typically most guitars are going to be somewhere in the 6 to 7 pound range. And then the heavier stuff's going to be, in your 8 or 9 pounds. So we try to give you that. But most of the time when let's say you go on Sweetwater, you're going to say, oh, I like light guitars. And you're just going to pick the lightest one they have. So you don't care how much my guitar weighs. You know what I mean? So there is that, because you can go on Sweetwater and it'll show you all the weights of all the models. Typically, a lot of times for electric stuff, I'll just text my salesman and I'll just be like, hey, I'm ordering X guitar. Just send me the lightest one you have. And he'll send me the lightest one they have. And you can do that too. Anybody can do that. And he'll look in his inventory and they're all weighed and everything. And you can just pick the lightest one or pick the heaviest one or, whatever, if you care about that stuff. So I don't get down to the ounce with this stuff. Fret size I'll get wrong a lot. I'm just going to tell you if they're big or small. Because that's all that generally matters to most people. I'm going to tell you what kind of tuners they are style-wise, but maybe not brand. All those sorts of things. So then what's the point of doing a video if you're not going to include specs? Most customers buy online and cannot try it in person, so specs sometimes are important. I agree. So this is why we include a lot of the important ones. But here's the thing. Guitar players focus on the wrong things. And this is what I care more about with guitar, my channel, more than the product itself. If you care more about what the nut is made out of or how big the frets are, if I tell you they're big frets or I tell you they're small frets, that should be enough. If you want to know if they're 6150s or 6110s or if they're tall skinny or are they tall narrow, you nerd out about it that much, then maybe you are watching the wrong channel. Because you know what? You're doing it wrong. Because if you the things that matter about a guitar are how it feels in your hand. Do you want it light or do you want it heavy? Does it look cool and does it sound good? End of story. That is all you need to know. If you care about, well, I can't play this radius or this fret sizes, my hands. There's a little Korean kid on YouTube. There's a bunch of Korean kids on YouTube that are telling you that you are wrong. So I think it's really important to not get bogged down in specs. Does it sound good? Does it look good? Can I give you a general, general feeling for what the guitar feels like? Yeah, it's a pretty light guitar. It's really light. It's lighter than a Strat. I think I said this yesterday. It's lighter than a normal Strat. The fretboard is very C-shaped, which is very common for a Fender, but it feels shorter because that shorter scale definitely changes it. And then the feeling of the guitar changes because of the neck angle. We don't normally have that on a Strat. See, you go through all those things that give you an impression of the guitar, but I didn't tell you what size the frets were. And okay, yeah, I got the nut wrong, but you know what? That nut doesn't matter to you. Shouldn't. Maybe it does, but it shouldn't. On a $429 guitar, the fact that it has a nut that functions is enough. So at $429, if the guitar feels good, plays good, it is good. End of story. There's nothing more. You don't need to know anything else. Once you get the guitar and you're like, I'm a nut snob, then you can change the nut if you want. But at that point, getting a general impression and a feeling from an instrument is what people are losing in 2023 with all the Facebook groups and all the YouTube channels and over spec shopping. I do this for fun. I don't know about you, but I play guitar for fun. I think it's cool. I think guitars are cool. And everything that I do in life, mountain bikes are cool, guns are cool, knives are cool, Scotch is cool. All the things that I collect and enjoy, I'm like, I think I want to try that one. I don't have that one yet. That looks cool. And I get it. Or maybe I have to save up because I can't afford it right now. Or maybe I prioritize it because, for the spec people, I go, I really need something with these specific needs in mind, so I'm going to buy this one instead of that one. But that's all the thought I give it. Now, when it comes to cameras and mountain bikes, that's a totally different story because then you're looking at specific features that will the product actually serve your needs? Will it actually do a thing that you need it to do? My cameras are tools. Well, they're pleasure too. I shoot for fun, but my cameras are tools. If it does not do this, if the crop factor on 4K is too high, that is a spec. I cannot have that. I have to have a proper crop factor. The f-stop on the lens has to be a certain one or lower for me to consider it. Battery life, I don't care so much about that. I just buy a lot of batteries. All those sorts of things, when it comes to certain things, are really important to me. But I'm not going to not be true to myself when it comes to a guitar video. Specs are cool. They are cool. I get why people want to know what a guitar is made of and stuff. The problem is they weight certain specs far too heavy when they should be concerned with, I'm just going to hold my eyes and my ears and I'm just going to hear what this, or my eyes, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to just hold my headphones tight over my ears and I'm going to listen to this guitar. Does it move me? Man, that thing sounds pretty cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool too. Actually, I can afford it. Or in a couple of paychecks, if I throw some money aside, I'd probably be able to afford that thing. And it gets it back into are you doing this because you enjoy it? Or are you doing this because you're trying to be cooler than somebody else? Or are you doing it because you're a penny pincher? And I mean that not for the people that can't afford it. Some people can't afford stuff, but there's a lot of people in guitar land who are like, that guitar's not worth it. Well, you know what? Not to you. Then don't buy it. I don't buy stuff that's not worth it to me. I don't. I buy stuff that's worth it to me. And if it's not, then I don't buy it. End of story. But you don't need to spec shop. If you like the thing, buy the thing. And if you can afford it, if you're in a position to do that. And if you can't afford it, save up. Don't buy 17 cheap ones instead of one good one. But I just think I'm telling you all this because it's a different approach to how these videos are made. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to give you the specs. But because I try to be as accurate as possible, obviously. Otherwise, the comments just completely blow you up, which I also don't care about. But what I will say is I will include as many things as I can to be as accurate as possible. But if I'm wrong about one once in a while, don't stress about it. Because to me, it was probably bandwidth that I probably learned it and then the bandwidth just wasn't there. I'm one of these people who thinks, I know we all know a lot of unnecessary things, right? Like, I don't know. We know all kinds of crazy things, like Jeopardy kind of stuff, right? Like if you can make it to Final Jeopardy, watching from home. I stopped watching when Trebek died, but anyways, then you probably know a bunch of useless things, right? Like what the statue in the center of your town when it was built and all that. You know all that kind of stuff, right? But there's certain things that you just don't allow to index in your mind. And a lot of that stuff with this guitar stuff, I just don't care about. It doesn't make a big enough difference, even though people want to make it. They think it does. It doesn't make that much difference. So I'm just like, I know where to find the specs. You can go to the listing on Sweetwater and you can see all the specs for yourself. I'm going to tell you how the guitar feels. That's the other thing. Spec people are lazy. I'm just going to say that. Hey, you didn't tell me what the nut was made of. There's a link in the friggin' description. You can go on the bottom and you can see all the specs for yourself, even the ones that I don't care about. I don't know what the fret size is on the guitar. I don't remember because I don't care. Instead of wasting time and bandwidth, brain bandwidth on something that doesn't really matter to how cool the guitar is overall, I'm going to spend time on telling you how cool something is overall, like, and major drawbacks or benefits to the thing that would discourage you from buying the thing. Now, if a plastic nut discourages you from buying a guitar, you're doing this entire hobby wrong. And you can call me wrong about that, but I'm not. And the other reason why I'm wrong a lot is because of stuff like that. So people will stop following the channel, or they will make comments like, no, you're wrong. I got this morning. No, you're wrong. The Slash Les Paul pickups that came, the Seymour Duncan ones are better than the Gibson ones because there's more clarity. I don't care. I don't. If you like it, good. I want to encourage people to do things and enjoy things with the hobby that they like. But I want people to focus. My goal, no, I don't want people. So we're free. You can, allegedly, you can do whatever you want, and you can think whatever you want, and you can say whatever you want except for certain stuff. Otherwise, they ban you off of YouTube. But you can say pretty much whatever you want, and you can be whoever you want. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. However, I'm going to respect you. I hope you give me the same respect. When I tell you I don't like a thing, it doesn't make me wrong. When I tell you that a guitar is worth the money because I understand the fiscal breakdown of an instrument from the financial side, because I know that stuff, I'm not wrong because you don't like Gibson. You know what I mean? So instead of focusing on that stuff, just talking about how cool guitars are. And I wanted to bring this up today because I think it's an interesting perspective to talk about and to think about as a community, because guitars are fun, man. They are fun. And I do it because it's cool. I just hope that people don't focus on the wrong things. And I hope they get back to having fun. I know it's going to be a long curve around of me talking about this, and there's going to be people that unsubscribe because they disagree and whatever, but that's okay. You can enjoy those types of conversations. I have no problem with that, but I just think it's really interesting to think about. A lot of people look for resale. I think looking for resale on an instrument is dumb. I think you should buy a guitar that you like. Yes, do not use acetone on your guitar. I would not use acetone. But having 17 guitars would be cool, and my last name isn't Gates or Musk. Oh, over time you will definitely... That's the other thing. You have your whole life. You don't need to own everything this year. I'm talking to myself because I'm buying guitars like it's going out of style. But I had to Dremel out some wood under the Mustang's new pickguard to get your P90s and toggle switch to fit, thinking I should paint the raw wood to protect it. Nah, I wouldn't worry about it. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. I wouldn't worry about it. I have 2 of the real Stratosonic Strats. I would just like to see if you could source to original the bridge to use on the Squier. I don't care about that. So this is another thing. It is going to come up a bunch with this guitar. I don't care. That bridge works good. The guitar is intonated properly. Something I think people need to think about is... Here's one with this guitar, with any guitar. Once you pick your string gauges and your tuning, your intonation on your guitar will never move. It will never move because it is a mathematic equation based on the length of the scale and the diameter of the string and nothing else. So if the if your truss rod, if your guitar like shrinks and expands a bunch, even then it really won't move beyond that, because basically what it is it's half the scale length from the 12th fret to the saddle. And then there's, so like on a 25.5-inch scale guitar, we talked about this last week too. So you'd have 25.5-inch scale on the high E string, and then your B string would be like half the distance of the difference between the 9 and the 13. And then it would be half the distance of the difference between the 13 and the 17. And that's why it steps back just a little bit. And if you do it enough times, you can actually measure it with a caliper and set your intonation with a caliper, and it'll be right or very close, because it's just math. Intonation is not this like thing. It is a very simple thing. It is, all you're doing is you're setting the scale length on the high E string and you're compensating for the thicknesses of the strings after that. That's all it is. So it's half the distance of the difference between the previous two strings back. And then when you get to the wound strings, it resets and then it does it again. That's it. So if we have a lightning bridge on a Les Paul Jr. That has been mathematically figured out and it works, it will always work. It will not ever not work unless you go with some whack string thickness where you have like some weird E string and then some weird B string. Even if you go heavier strings, let's say, that guitar's got 9s on it, I'm going to put 10s on it. As long as the differences between the strings are relatively the same. I mean, like it goes from 9 to 46, we're going to go to 10 to 48. And if you look at the difference between each of the strings, as long as that's relatively close, the intonation will still be close, because that's all you're really compensating for. The only thing we'll have to change is we might have to punch it in towards the saddle just a little bit as we go to a thicker string. But I bet we don't even have to do that. We'll check it, but I bet it won't be very much. A couple of turns on the little set screws, or like a half a turn on each set screw, and it'll probably be fine. But the relationship between the strings, as long as it's relatively close, will never need to move. So these people that are in the brain space that you have to move your intonation around all the time, therefore if you don't have adjustable intonation, your guitar will always be out of tune, are just dead wrong. Now here's another thing that'll blow your mind. If you take and it might not blow everybody's mind because I talk about this all the time too, but if you take your guitar out of your case, okay, and your action is wrong, there's only one adjustment you need to make, and that is your truss rod. Too many people will reach for the saddles and then they will mess up their intonation, and all you have to do is a quarter turn-ish on the truss rod every other season or whatever that is. Here's why. If you have the guitar in the case in the closet and you did not touch it, no tools touched it and no elves went in the closet to touch it without you, then what makes you think the first thing you need to do when you pull a guitar out of the closet is grab a bunch of tools and touch stuff that can't move by itself? The only thing that can move by itself on a guitar without you touching it is the truss rod, is the fretboard relief. So if the fretboard relief moves, that's the only thing that can move on a guitar without you touching it. So that's the only thing you should need to adjust when you pull it out of the closet and your action is a little off. And if you do that and retune the guitar and run the same gauge of strings, you should, under most circumstances, never have to touch anything else on the guitar. The only time you may have an issue with any of that other stuff, once it's set the way you want it, is wear. So you might have a nut wear out, you might have a saddle wear out, but most of us don't play the kind of hours on a guitar to ever wear out, that stuff. Most of us that are watching this right now are probably we're hobbyists, right? Like I've never worn out a set of frets ever. I mean, I have a lot of guitars, so like, my guitars come and go, so I can't say, well, actually, I have one guitar that has a bunch of fret wear. It's the one I've had since I was 13. But every time I take it to my guy that does that stuff for me, because I don't do my own fret work because I don't like doing it and I don't have time. He always tells me, like, just leave it alone. Don't worry about it. He's like, it's not bad enough. So the guitar that I've had for, whatever, 40 years or whatever, that guitar I've have never even worn the frets out on. So yeah. Elves, man, they're always messing with my guitars. And wood and climate is actually kind of a misnomer too. It's only humidity. Heat doesn't really do anything. The only thing that heat will do is it'll let glue go. Like sometimes some older glues will go away, like they'll come undone, and it'll hurt finishes. But it won't really move the guitar. Heat and cold don't really move the guitar as much as you would think. Finishes and glues and adhesives, yes, but not the shape of the guitar. The shape of the guitar will mostly change. 95 to 98% of that change will be with humidity changes. Oh, hang on. We got a super chat. Sorry about that. I'll check for the other ones. First time buying strings for my Fender acoustic electric. I played 9s on my electric. What would be good size strings? I would say 12s. I would put 12s on that. Stringjoy, Foxwood, 12 to 48. 52. 12 to 52. That's what I would put on it. That's what I have on. It depends on the guitar too. So Fender acoustic electric. So that's 25 and a half. Yeah, I would put 12s, especially if you're going from an electric to an acoustic. I wouldn't go to a 13. I have 13s on all my guitars, my acoustics, but I like that. And if it's something that you're just starting to experiment with, I would definitely go the 12 to 52 or 54, whatever that is. I'm getting ridges in my frets on the guitar that I bought new in 2019. I play 4 to 5 hours a day. That's a lot. And I use flat wounds. It depends on what the flat wounds are made of. If they have stainless wrapping, because sometimes they do, stainless will be really hard on nickel. And I know a lot of people talk about this cheap guitar is as good as this more expensive guitar, but this, if you're a person that plays that much, this is where buying an American Standard Strat or a proper telly, like a $2,000 telly, will really come into play, because Squier frets are not the same. Like, they wear way faster. The nickel that they use is way softer. It's just cheaper, obviously. Money's got to come from somewhere, right? So, yeah, definitely. And stainless strings will be harder on frets for sure. Of course, that's always a thing. Like, people will say, well, these strings wear out super fast. Well, there's a couple of things that'll wear out strings. Two things, really. One is the frets, but you would rather have the frets wear out the strings than the strings wear out the frets, obviously. I don't know why people don't like changing strings, but for some reason, a lot of people don't like changing strings. I love it. I like having new strings all the time. That being said, I rarely ever do, but I do like new strings. And just because of how we do stuff around here, I am changing strings a lot. But like my main guitars that I play, my personal guitars, they rarely get new strings. The other thing that will wear out frets is or strings, is your hands, based on what you eat, your diet and your chemical makeup and all that sort of stuff will wear out strings as well. Have you used a rubber bridge? JHS had a live with a rubber bridge guitar, and I want to try one now. No, I haven't tried that. I saw that thumbnail, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. No, I didn't get a chance to watch that one. Flats should be easier to on frets than rounds. It just depends what they're made of. A lot of flats are stainless steel, and stainless steel is way hard on frets. If they're nickel or they're nickel mix, which is what most regular strings are, that's going to be way easier on frets, but a lot of flat ones are stainless. And stainless is tough on frets, big time. Let's see. I try to change strings once a month and spread my playing across all my guitars. I kind of do the same thing. I've been going in streaks lately. I've been playing my Junior a bunch because this video, this other guitar that we just had. I've been playing my original Strat some, which doesn't normally happen. We played that. I played that Squier a bunch. That's gone now. The red guitar, by the way, is sold already. Somebody bought it like the same night. And I've been playing my carbon fiber stuff quite a bit. Let's see. Should builders tune their guitar fret temperament to tunings and key signatures rather than even temperament? No, I think that's a bunch of nerdy garbage. I think all that true temperament stuff and all that weird stuff, I think that's just a bunch of, it's really cool to say that it's like cool for Instagram. It's like Instagram cool, but it's like not 95% of people don't care about that. I mean, it's Instagram cool for sure. Like, I'd love to have a guitar with squiggly frets and, frets that were in the wrong place. And so you could tell everybody, well, this is better than the other kind because it's crooked. That'd be cool for Instagram. But I think for real life, who cares? What did I order? Oh, you don't get to know that until it comes out of the box. We don't do that. Yeah, I ordered another guitar. I actually ordered 2 guitars. 2? Yeah, I ordered 2. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't tell anybody. What are the frets on your carbon fiber made out of? Carbon fiber guitar. The ones on the close are nickel. And the ones on both McPherson's are that Jesco cryo gold stuff. I can't remember what it's called. It's Jesco fret wire though. It's that cryo gold. I can't remember, but they're gold. They're super hard. How about building a Nashville Telly with your mini humbucker single? We did that already. We did that. That guitar has flown the coop as well. We just did that. Yep. Right now, we're working on... Well, me and Matt from Texas Toast are working on another thing. So you're going to see some more stuff there. Today I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. I wound 15 humbuckers this morning and like 8 P90s. And I got to put all that stuff tomorrow and ship it together. So Evo Gold. Yes, thank you. That's what they are. Evo Gold. Yep. That's what's on my gold on my McPherson's. I had it on a telly one time and I really liked it too. That Evo Gold stuff's cool because it's way harder than nickel, but it's not like stainless. I don't like stainless frets unless they are done perfectly, like perfectly. You can have problems with them. The reason is because they're so hard. You have to have a separate set of tools to do them. You cannot use your normal tools that you use on fretwork on your stainless steel stuff. And you'll only get a few. You could use the same fret tools for years on nickel stuff, and you will very quickly wear out the tools that you use for your stainless stuff. And what happens is when you're crowning them, they can get, you have to really be on top of it. But this is what I see a lot of times, even in people's guitars I bought this guitar and it has stainless frets. It's so cool. Because everybody likes, stainless frets are Instagram cool. So everybody wants them. And what you'll see if you look really close on a lot of them, unless they're done really, 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 really well, that you have to pay for, is there will be these little micro chatters. You can see it in like a macro lens. There's these little micro chatters, and it's from the file as you crown it. And you can't just polish it. It has to be like emery, because stainless is so hard. They're just really, really hard to polish. They'll have these little micro chatters in them, and you can feel that when you play it. And I cannot stand that. And you have to get it right. Otherwise, it won't be right. Can you get really well done stainless frets? Absolutely. But your Harley Benton doesn't have it. And your, any of your cheap Ibanez's that say they have stainless frets and all, those guitars don't have awesome fret jobs. I know because I've seen them. All these cheap guitars that are coming with stainless frets now, look at them with a macro lens and start playing them and start doing some bends on them. And there will be a bunch of people that'll get in oh, I have one and it's amazing. Okay, cool. I mean, can you fix microphonic active pickups? Not really, because usually those are epoxy potted. Yeah, usually they have. I have one cut in half around here somewhere. Oh, maybe I gave them away already. Yeah, thanks for hitting the like button, everybody. And even you two people who hit the don't like button, because I can see that you hit the down button. That's okay. I'm glad to know that you're still here. Hey, Doc. Yeah. So that's about all I've got. If anybody else has any questions, get in there real quick and we'll chat them up. When I do stainless steel frets, I use the grits around the files. Yeah, see, so any custom shop guy, any hand guy can do them. Like, you can be very good at stainless steel frets. I'm not saying you can't get good stainless steel frets. I am saying the likelihood of getting stainless steel frets that are any good beyond just the Instagram good on a really inexpensive guitar like a Harley Benton or any of those other knockoff things that say they're not going to be that great. And you might not have a buzz, and they'll be, yeah, they're great. They're flat and there's no buzzes and everything, and they're stainless. See, they're stainless. But they won't be like polished mirror smooth and like done like Tim Ziegler evidently does with proper grits and et cetera in between each of them, and really get them nicely polished and et cetera, et cetera. The likelihood of that is very low. If you like it and you think it sounds great and you enjoy the feel of the instrument, does it all the chitter chatter really matter? Nope, it does not. That's why I really feel strongly about just trying to give you the general feel of an instrument. Because that's all you're going to do. You know, if people would shop for guitars with their eyes closed, the world would be a different place. You know, just hold the guitar in your hand with your eyes closed and just start playing. Do you connect with it or do you not? Don't look at the spec sheet. Do you connect with the guitar or do you not? Because here's what will happen. If you say, I can't play a 7 1/4 radius, I can't play a 12-inch radius, I can't play a 59 profile neck, you will then limit your guitar playing. Because the reality is, you can play all of the above. I know lots of people, including myself, who have multiple radii, and neck profiles, and weights of guitars, and scale lengths on purpose. Now, does that mean that you might say, well, I can't play this on this guitar, but I can? It has led me to play this other thing. Boom. Now you learned a new skill. Now you went down a musical road you never went down before. You limit yourself from doing that if you never look at the guitar a new way. So for the people that are like, I can never play X or Y, they're just limiting themselves. I always play with my knobs on 12. You're just limiting yourself. You're just not learning anymore. That's the problem. There's so much to learn if you just allow yourself to do that. It's super important. Screw that. I can play it all. Have you ever played a Steinberger guitar? I used to have one. Yeah, I used to have one. They're weird, but they're cool. Have you ever tried to polish stainless anything? You should try polishing a knife blade. It's hard. There's a reason why Marfiones cost $1,200. You don't want to polish stainless. I'm one of those people that plays all sorts of things, all manner of stuff on purpose. Yeah, see, me too. And I never was like that before. I was a Strat guy when I was a kid. I hated Telecasters. Now I love them. Now I only have one Strat. Well, yeah, I have a couple Tellies. I really, really like all of it. And I think it's really cool to continue to learn that stuff, For folks that are overly worried about quality from buying online, you just need to know the person that you're buying it from, the dealer that you're buying it from. And if it is not quality, you hold them accountable. You just tell them it's not right, and you just make it right. So, yeah. That's why I like pedals. I have to change how I play to accommodate the pedal. See, isn't that fun? That's what I think too. That's the way I feel about guitars. I pick up a guitar that I've never played before, or a format. I just got my first Les Paul this year, 6 months ago, and I've played them a bunch, but I've never had one, and it makes me play different. And I play the guitar differently than I play other stuff. These short scale acoustics are making me play different. This Gibson scale Fender thing, Squier thing that I have is making me play different. I'm really enjoying it. And so attacking things from a different perspective instead of just being like, I can't do that. I'm not an I can't do that guy. So There you go. Well, cool, you guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks for a few of you who shared a super chat with me. And the rest of you who watched all through this stuff, just make sure you like what you like. Thanks to the 2 people that gave me the down thumb button. You'll see more of my stuff now that you participated on the channel. So I'm glad you did that. As well as the 71 of you who, oh, we got another super chat, who hit that like button. So yeah, man. Let's see. From JP Collins, my take. Besides Dylan's pickups, the next $120 pedal you gotta buy. Stop and take a lesson on triads, arpeggios, etc. to up your skills, and you'll up your sound. It's true, right? Yeah. That's the way I feel too about neck profiles. It makes me hold the guitar different, and I learn some stuff. I was also doing the same thing. I was realizing that I was like fudging some chords that I was making, and then when I played a short scale guitar and the frets are all in different places, I'm like, oh, I need to do this different. So it taught me something, So yeah, that's really fun to use those differences in instruments and pedals and all that kind of stuff to learn. Dual cream in your Les Paul would look sick. No, I don't like cream. Have you found a buyer? Yeah, it's gone. Yep. It is gone. Are the threads on pots different lengths? Yeah, so you're going to have short ones, 3/8, and then long shaft pots for like Les Pauls and stuff. Cool, man. Well, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you probably Thursday for a live stream, or actually tomorrow we will do a live unboxing of a new guitar that is coming in from Sweetwater. So you'll probably see me tomorrow for another live unboxing.